Now that we've initialized our project as a Node project, we could start writing our project and build our project using app.js. So this is just vanilla JavaScript at this point. But what we're going to do is we need to install some packages or some things to help our code, help our environment, or to help our code, or that kind of a thing. And what I mean by that is, let's start with this idea of, I'm sure you guys have heard of Bootstrap. So let me use Bootstrap as an example. So I'm going to go to this website called NPM.js. And what NPM is it actually stands for Node Package Manager. Node Package Manager. I'm just writing the words here. You know, as programmers do, they put this little Easter egg thing here, and every time you refresh the page, NPM is going to say that it stands for something different. So right now it's Notorious Penguin Magicians, but every time you refresh the page, it'll be something else. But really what NPM stands for is Node Package Manager. And a package is simply packages or things that we can install that we can use to enhance our development environment, or maybe files that we actually need for our project to run, such as Bootstrap, for example. And so this NPM is a repository for all of the different packages that we can utilize in our project. All right, I put the video on hold and I logged in. Now you don't have to log in to work with NPM, but I just wanted to show you that when you log in, you get this number here, which is constantly growing. And what that says is there's over 2,566,000 packages at the time of this video that are available for developers to use in their projects. For example, we can use packages to create a Vue project, which we will be doing here before the semester is over. You can use this to run React. You can use this to install your Axios files, etc., etc. In fact, there's over 2,566,000 of them. Obviously, we're not going to be using all of those in this class. However, it's the place where if software developers are creating these packages, and this is where they can sort of a central location for them to put all of their packages in for developers to find. So we're going to utilize Bootstrap, and we know how to use Bootstrap. We go to the website and we can either use the CDN or we can download the files. But let's use Node just to see how it works, because this is a simple example with something we're already familiar with. So if I type in Bootstrap here and I do a search and I wait for my internet to spin, then we're going to find, oh, is this the package that you meant? And I'm going to hit that because the answer to that question is yes, that's the one I'm interested in. And so it's going to bring up the documentation that the developers of Bootstrap have created and are here in this location for us to see and learn how we can implement using Node. So let me also take you to Get Bootstrap. I'm going to take you here just for a visual. So if we were in Bootstrap and we go to download, we've seen how we can download the source files or we can use the CDN. But if you look further down here, you're also going to see NPM install. Install Bootstrap in your Node.js powered apps. Well, this is what we're going to be doing. And so it gives us the directions here on how to do it, and it shows this at 5.3.2, which means the most current version at the time of this recording is 5.3.2. And so that's what we would install. Keep going with this thought. I'm going to keep elaborating on that moment. So in this location, NPM.js is a central location where we can learn how to utilize NPM in order to install Bootstrap, or you can go to the Bootstrap documentation. And so if I scroll down here a little bit, it's going to give me some information, I think, on, nope, I was hoping it was going to be there, but all right, if we look over here on the right hand side, here's the same thing we just saw a moment ago. We saw NPM. It said install, but I and install are the same thing. Install Bootstrap. Now notice that this doesn't have an @ symbol. So what we've just learned is that if we want to install Bootstrap, if I do npm I Bootstrap right now, I'll get the most current version. If I choose to select a particular version, remember that there are various versions of Bootstrap, and maybe I need to use version 4 because that's what the code I wrote is utilizing. And yes, they're very different. So if I wanted to target Bootstrap 4.6 instead, then I would say npm I or install Bootstrap at 4.6. So I'd be installing a particular version. So without the at symbol, it'll install the most current version. With the at symbol, we specify a particular version that may not be the current version. So what does all that mean? Well, let's come back here into our terminal. I'm going to type in clear so I get a clear space here. And I'm going to do just that. I'm going to do npm I or install, both are the same. I'm going to say npm install bootstrap. And this is going to spin and do some things. I'm going to put this on pause. All right, so once it finished, I got this colorful yay. And then if you look here in the left-hand side, never worry about this package lock JSON. That's just something that Node does to kind of keep track of itself, so you don't need to worry about this lock JSON. So first I'm going to look at the package JSON file that we created earlier. Notice that it now has this added to it. We didn't have this a moment ago. And now it says dependencies, bootstrap, and there's the version that we installed. Remember, we didn't put an at symbol. So now I know that this project is targeting bootstrap version 5.3.2. And it's being notated here in this template of my project, so to speak, or documentation of my project. If I had done at 4.6, then this would have had 4.6 on it. Notice too that I have a node modules folder here on the left-hand side. So every time we do an install, all of the dependency files, all of the files that we depend on in order to use Bootstrap that got downloaded are going to be in a node modules folder. It's created on our behalf. We don't need to worry about it, nor do we ever really need to mess with, nor should we mess with any of the files in here. But I did want to look at it just so you can see that it's here. So I'm going to notice that there's a distribution folder. In the distribution folder is a CSS folder. And there's all my Bootstrap files. So that should look familiar from our Bootstrap days. And there's our Bootstrap min.css here in the node modules folder. And then you can also see the Bootstrap CSS file and all of the things we've been experiencing with Bootstrap. So what that means is I am going to create an index. Let's see, I didn't put it in the right spot, so let me try this again. So I'm going to come in here and create an index page, index.html, and I'm going to create a h1 just so we can see it work. Hello. And then I'm going to include my Bootstrap file, so not using a CDN, but I'm using the files that I installed via NPM. So if I do a link to a CSS file, and I hit my tab, then now the style sheet is going to be, I have to notate the folder name, so I have to type in, let me get rid of the CSS so it'll help me out, node modules, because that's the folder that it was in. Notice that it finds it, so it's trying to help me. Is this node modules? I'm going to hit the tab to indicate yes. Then it noticed that, are you talking about the Bootstrap files? And the answer is actually, was it Bootstrap? Oh yeah, Bootstrap. I got lost there. See where it says Bootstrap? So yep, Bootstrap was correct. Your little hint was correct, so I'm going to hit tab. Then it's in the distribution folder. Oops, I lost it. It's in the distribution folder, tab. Yes, it is. In the CSS folder, yes, tab. That's correct. And then I'm going to find my bootstrap min.css. And so, did I just pass it? Probably. Bootstrap min.css. There it is. So now I'm attached to Bootstrap. And I utilized NPM to install the Bootstrap files into my project. And so now when I open up that page, which I don't think I have handy here, so let's go ahead and open up that page, squish all of these together so I don't have such a mess. Right click, choose default browser, and what you should see now is my bootstrapped H1, which is in fact a little different version of the default H1. So far so good. We've installed a package, we've installed Bootstrap that we're going to be using for deployment, that we're going to depend on those files, and they're currently being stored in this node modules folder.